Garmin Drive 52EX. Let's get the negatives out of the way right up front. Alright. If you want traffic on this thing, you must get a Garmin GTM 36. You have to. It doesn't come with traffic out of the box. You have to get that specific charge cord, and it must be plugged in to the 12-volt port. You can get these things on eBay for about $40 after tax and shipping. Now I know it's going to tick off some people right up front, but this is the base model from Garmin for their automotive units. That's what you have to do. If you happen to have a GTM 60 in your possession, this thing will recognize it. It will give you a notice that says it doesn't support digital traffic, but it will revert back to RDS and still work. So if you already have a GTM 60, you can use it with this thing. Does it work with the GTM 35? No. Has to have a GTM 36 or a GTM 60. Does it work with the TA20? No. It will power it, but you won't get any traffic from it. That's the first negative. The second negative, if you want the all the maps on this thing, you do have to get a, well, okay, you don't have to, but it's strongly recommended that you get a 32 gigabyte, and no more than 32. That's the maximum. A 32 gigabyte memory card. And I don't think this thing supports Bluetooth either, so I do not believe on the EX model. The one that says and traffic, because you'll see Garmin 52 and then Garmin 52 and traffic. I believe what that means is that the traffic version, you can connect it with Bluetooth to your phone with an app to get traffic. Otherwise, you have to get the GTM 36 or GTM 60. And the final negative before getting to the positives is that it is US and Canada, no Mexico. All of the 52 models are only US and Canada, but you will notice you do get Parkopedia and Foursquare National Parks, so that's good. Does this have the 3D buildings when you get into the city part of it? I don't believe so, but that's kind of a novelty anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Alright, let's get to the positives of this thing first. This basically acts exactly like the Drive Smart 55 and 65, but smaller and in a matte screen. The way you get the turns list is that you ordinarily see this. You can hit this little menu right here and you've got turns. Bear in mind, this menu, you can move around your menu stuff so you can have it in the order that you like. You can also have your trip data on the right side. Each one of these fields is configurable with all this stuff. I have mine set to direction, distance, and arrive in, but you can set each field to any one of these, which is great. But I like having the turns list because this is awesome. And each one of these, when you see them, is clickable, and it gives you a larger text direction for easier reading if you want to see it. Like that. Like that. There is also a up ahead, which blue in this one, which is kind of nice. Whenever you bring it on screen, it does take a second to load. And I am not near a rest area, which is why it's going to keep thinking about it. But otherwise, it shows this stuff, and if you click it, it tells you can customize it. But you get all the gas stations and whatnot. If you want to customize this part, that's in settings, map and vehicle, map layers, up ahead places, and then these three, and you can configure them to whatever you like. I suggest leaving up ahead places disabled, or the icons will always be on the map, which is, to me, is annoying. So a note about this one compared to the Drive Smart 55, notice the menus are not choppy. It's actually got nice smooth animation everywhere, which is great. Also notice that when you're approaching a speed limit that decreases, it will turn yellow to tell you that it's going to decrease, which is nice. Bring the turns back up there. Also bear in mind these two fields, you can touch them. For this one, you get a trip computer, and for this one, you can configure it to any one of these fields. It's not as many fields as if you have trip data enabled, but you essentially have 4 customizable fields, which is great. I just have mine set to the arrival time, which works for me. Okay. To run through the settings on this real quick, well, let's go to the apps first. You don't have that much with this. It says that this thing has a backup camera and wireless. Does this support wireless? It might. This is the base EX model, and for that backup camera to work with the BC30, that's Garmin BC meaning backup camera. It's either BC30 or BC40, I don't remember exactly, but supposedly this thing does support. Let me go check that. Go to the device and about. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for Wi-Fi. Could be wrong. It might have it. Don't know. Don't know. But anyway, back in apps, yeah, you do have the traffic if you have a GTM 36 or GTM 60 connected. You do have the trip planner. I've gone over that in a previous video of mine if you want to check that out. It hasn't really changed all that much, if at all. And that's pretty much it for apps. In your settings area, if you do updates, this is going to tell you to connect with Garmin Express. In the map and vehicle section, you've got your vehicle icons to go from, which you can swipe. You can swipe like this, or you can just go individual like this. Now, I have a couple custom ones here. I got the TIE Fighter, which is that's Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, and the X-Wing, because I think that's cool from old backups I have. You do have your driving map view. You still do have track up and north up. If you like traditional view map, you can do a north up. If you want your current direction you're facing always to face up, that's what track up is, but I just do 3D. You have 3 levels of map detail, which is more, normal, and less. There's less, there's normal, there's more. I choose normal because the map draws a little faster. So I sacrifice a little bit of detail for faster map drawing, which is more important to me. In the map theme, that changes the overall colors. So if I go to Alsterich, I'm probably pronouncing that very wrong, but see, it changes it to a little bit of a yellow color. This also affects the night view as well. Or if I do Russia, now it's a little more gray. Do United Kingdom, changes the line colors a little bit. Just go back to the Garmin theme there. I've already gone over the map layers. You can disable auto zoom on this, which is nice. So if you don't want it constantly zooming in and out, you can tell it to not do that, and it will obey you. That's good. And in the navigation section, there is the option to show a route preview that whenever you start, it's going to show a window on that side, giving you a quick overview of the route. I disabled that. You only have 3 calculation modes in this one, of faster time, off-road, and shorter distance. It doesn't have less fuel, which is on some other models, which was kind of a... if you see less fuel on another model, that's basically a combination, like the middle ground between shorter distance and faster time. Off-road just means don't use roads. use just a pointer. That's what off-road is. I did another video showing how that works. In the avoidances section, you can avoid all this stuff. Yeah. If you do restore, that just restores it to factory settings for this particular screen. You can do custom avoidances if you don't want to take a certain road or area. That's where you would set it up here. For toll roads, you can have it to always ask you, always avoid them, or always allow. The restricted mode means that if you try to use the screen while the vehicle is in motion, it won't let you do it. Some people want that enabled for safety reasons. You can disable it. I leave it disabled. And let's see, under driver assistance, I have all the driver alerts disabled. These icons here, while driving, if you come across one, it will appear right here above this, right, try to say that again, just to the right of the speed limit and just above your current speed here. That's the speed limit and that's your current speed being traveled. And that is what all these icons are for. I have them all disabled, but you can do them individually or just select them all, however you want to do it. The reduced speed tone just basically means you'll hear a chime whenever the I showed that a moment ago. When you're traveling along and the speed limit is about to decrease, this will turn yellow. But in addition to turning yellow, if you have reduced speed tone enabled, you'll hear a chime. Bear in mind that's not when above the speed limit. That's what speeding alert is for. So if you go over the speed limit, you can have that checked if you like. The brake planning stuff, well, this is if you want the thing to give you some type of alert. If you've been driving for a long time, you want it to chime at you for whatever reason, you can have it do that. Or upcoming services, I think what this does is that it will tell you about travel centers and gas stations and rest areas and so on. If you have that enabled, there, that's the only options here. You have this select all, just selects the two, and that's it. The proximity alert stuff, that is for, you can have red light cameras enabled or disabled, and when the alert happens, you can have it as a single tone or a continuous tone or off. I just have it turned off because I don't want to be notified. In the display section, a common complaint about modern Garmin's in general is the screen blacks out after a while. That's the display timeout. It's normally set to 2 minutes out of the box. I just set it to never, and then it won't do it. A screenshot puts a little camera image up there, and when you hit it, it will store a local screenshot, which you have to plug into your computer afterwards to retrieve it. Most people don't need that, but that's how you would do that. Was there anything under display? No. For traffic stuff, you do have to have the traffic accessory, as in the GTM 36, connected in order to see this stuff. And when you do have it connected and you see this little bar here actually show a traffic signal, which is different from the GPS signal, you can have it set to automatically get you around traffic when it knows about it, and also how many traffic alerts do you want. You can just have basic or most. For units and time, you have the clock, your time format, 12 or 24 hour UTC. You can do miles or kilometers here. Position format just means the coordinate format. It ordinarily comes out of the box as degrees, minutes, seconds, but you can have it as decimal degrees or any number of other ones. There are quite a few. I like having mine as decimal degrees. What was it? The datum. I don't even know what this is for. It's there if you want it. If you know what it is, you can change it, but I don't even know what it's for. I just leave it as WGS84. For your language and keyboard, you can go through American or British or any one of these, Russian, Spanish, French, Japanese, and so on. Now, I got rid of a bunch of the voices in this, but out of the box, it will, I believe it has like Cantonese, Chinese, English, Spanish. I think Russian comes preloaded, but I just have the English voices in here. You can load in more voices from Garmin Express under the utilities section once you put in your unit into the software. And is that it? I believe so. Okay. Right. So what do I think about it? Well, first of all, I'm very happy that the exit number up here, while not as large as on the 56 and the 2599 Nuvi, is still very legible and readable, which is nice. Is the screen as bright as a glossy screen? Nope. But is it legible for daylight driving? Yes. I'm touching the back of this thing right now, and it's plugged in. It's only warm. It doesn't run too hot, which is good. Oh, I forgot to mention another potential negative for some people. This is landscape mode only. You can't turn it and have a vertical. This is only horizontal. That's all you get with this. But being it's a 5-inch, that's not a problem for most people. I like that the speed limit size is increased. This right here has been decreased, but only a little bit. It's still plenty legible. These numbers down here have definitely increased. Essentially, this is just the Drive Smart 55 and 65. Again, like I said, just in a 5-inch version with a 480 by 272 resolution. This right here is the last of the old school Garmin's, meaning it will still use the old style circular. Do I have one here? No, I don't have a spare on me. It still uses the circle mount in the back. It still uses the mini USB connector, hence the GTM 36 will work with it. Doesn't use USB-C. Some people find that annoying. I consider that a positive because all my Garmin mounts will work with this. All my chargers will work with this because I got a bunch of these things. I don't have to worry about it. It's familiar. I can still get my list of turns from here. I can still view the map and view the overall journey from here. Scrolling around the map, it's quick. It doesn't do pinch to zoom though, because it's a matte. That's why. Does that bother? Well, let me try it from here actually. Can I do it from here? I might. No. I don't consider that a problem. That's glossy screen territory only, that's okay. Some people say, oh, I need that pinch to zoom. I don't. On a navigator, I really don't see the point. On a phone, I can totally see the point, especially when walking. But for something used for driving, I mean, are you really going to go and do pinch to zoom while you are piloting a vehicle? That would be dumb. Shouldn't do it. But it doesn't have it, and I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, doesn't run hot like the DS55 does. I'm trying to think of anything else I could say about it. It's lightweight, which is good. Very familiar to those that know Garmin units. Again, the last of the old school Garmin's. No, there's really not much else I can say about this. I mean, I've covered a bunch of this already in the Drive Smart 55 video. I've gone over pretty much all the settings I can think of. I mean, if you've seen it before. Oh, I should say this. Yeah, this is a customizable menu here. You do have to scroll down to see Add Shortcut. But again, like on this screen where you can press and hold and adjust your menu. You can do the same thing from here. So if I want to press and hold this and move it, you can do so. And to add shortcuts, you go down here. And to remove shortcuts, that's from the hamburger menu and up here. But there's only certain ones that will allow you to remove, and other ones it will not. For those of you that use custom points of interest, oh yeah, this thing will totally support that. I have custom POIs loaded on this. And why did I buy this other than it's the last old school Garmin? Well, here's the reason. I bought 2 DriveSmart 55s. I sent the first one back, then I sent the second one back. This is what I'll end on, is why I decided to go with this instead of a DriveSmart 55. First of all, something that surprisingly nobody talks about when it comes to the 55 and the 65, and the 61 had this too, is screen color temperature. The screen color temperature on the 55, 61 and 65 has too much blue going on. And what it does is that it looks very stark. For daylight driving, that's great. For night driving, it's a nightmare. Because you will notice on phones, like on Samsung Galaxies and so on, that they have a night mode setting, which will make the screen quote unquote warmer by adding more red into it and adjusting, I believe it's the Kelvin or whatever it is. DriveSmart 61, 65, and 55 don't have that. It uses the same quote unquote cool temperature, color temperature, for both day and night driving. But the matte screen has a nice warm color temperature for both day and night driving. The trade-off is that it's slightly more, just ever so slightly, more difficult to read it during the day, but for night driving, it's a treat because it doesn't annoy you to look at. It doesn't look stark. It doesn't matter what you set the screen brightness to, because if you've got too much blue going on, too much cool temperature going on, it will annoy you to look at it. You don't want to see that stuff. Hence, matte screens don't have that problem. None of them do have that problem, but glossy screens, unless there's a specific setting in it to change it to a warm color temperature, of which the Garmin's do not. Yeah, that's a problem. This might have been addressed on the DriveSmart 66, 76, and 86, but I've not tested those, so I can't tell you for certain. So let's go back just to the menu here. Yeah, you've seen, I showed, you saw the junction view. There it is. Just the junction view. It's got the, oh, that's another thing about this. It doesn't have the, which I consider this a bonus. It doesn't have the animations on the side for showing what lane you should be in and so on. I liked those at first. I have those in my new V2599, but I grew to really dislike them after a while because I don't want all this animated crap going on my screen. This 52 has just the right amount of animation without having it annoy you to get you where you want to go. So yeah, better to me, better than the 55 because it's matte, because the screen color temperature is better, because it doesn't run hot. The 55 has a nasty problem with running hot. I don't know about the 65, but the 55 does. The negatives I've already mentioned, but they were negatives I was aware of before getting this, like needing a separate traffic adapter, like needing a 32 gigabyte memory card. I already knew all that stuff before getting this, but now you do too. And if you've stuck with me for this almost 25-minute video, well, hey, thanks. Give it a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe too. I'll catch y'all later.